children, welcome back to science video lesson. Children, before going to the topic, look at these pictures. First picture is a sunflower plant and water. Then books, a bird and bacteria. Children, is there any similarities between these things or any difference between these things? So yeah, there is a difference between these things. What is the main difference between these things? Some of the things are alive and some are not alive. That means some of the things have a life, some don't have a life. Based on this, we can group these things as a living and non-living things. Children, on what basis you are going to say those things are alive? So based on the movement. So animals move around using their whole bodies to get from one place to another. And plants move by turning towards the sun. Their roots move deeper into the soil. Means you can see the movement in animals and also plants. You have observed a growth in those things. All living things grow even it is just a small amount. So seeds also grow into plants. And you have seen babies and young animals becomes adults. There are many different types of living things and they are all very different when compared to each other. But all living things have a basic things in common. We call these as life processes. So some of the basic things or the basic processes which are taking place in a living organism is called as a life process. So today we are going to discuss about a 6th chapter, life processes. Children, then what is this life process? So life process are the basic processes in living organism which are necessary for maintaining their life. So a life process, the processes that are necessary for an organism to stay alive, they are called as life processes. Example, nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. These are the essential life processes. Children, now we are going to study about these 4 processes one by one. First one is nutrition. So children, why do we take food? To get energy, we'll take a food. So this is a taking of a food by an organism and it is utilized to get energy is called as a nutrition. So we take a food because we want to get a energy. So the process of taking a food by an organism to get energy is called as a nutrition. So there are 2 modes of nutrition. One is autotrophic nutrition and another one is heterotrophic nutrition. Children, what is this autotrophic nutrition then? As the name indicates, auto means self. That means organism which prepare their own food. So organism which prepare their own food. So this mode of nutrition is called as a autotrophic nutrition. All green plants are the autotrophs and some of the bacteria like blue-green algae is an example for an autotroph. So autotrophic nutrition is nothing but the organism which prepares their own food. Children, then what is this heterotrophic nutrition? So heterotrophic nutrition where the organism they depend on other for their food. That means the organism which get their food directly or indirectly from plants. All the animals are heterotrophs and fungi and some of the bacteria they are all heterotrophs. Children, how do plants prepare their own food? Through a process of photosynthesis. Then what is photosynthesis? Here, a photo means light and synthesis means to prepare. Photo means light and synthesis means to prepare. So, the process of converting carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll is called as photosynthesis. So, photosynthesis is the process of converting carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates. So, which is the carbohydrate which is prepared there? It is glucose in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Children, where do photosynthesis will take place? The photosynthesis will take place inside the chloroplast. So the chloroplast is the kitchen of the plant cell. Chloroplast is the kitchen of the plant cell. And this chloroplast will be present in leaf. Children, which pigment gives green color to the plants? It is chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll will be present in chloroplast. The chloroplast also contains the chlorophyll, which is green pigment. Then what are the raw materials which are required for photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide and water are the raw materials for the photosynthesis. And also it needs a necessary condition. That means it needs a sunlight and also chlorophyll. Children, photosynthesis is a chemical reaction. So this is the chemical equation of photosynthesis. What are the reactants here? CO2, carbon dioxide, H2O, water molecule. And what are the products formed? Glucose, oxygen and water. Glucose is C6H12O6. O2 is oxygen. H2O is water. Children, observe here 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of water is required to synthesize 1 molecule of glucose. 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of water is required to synthesize 1 molecule of glucose. So, and also you can observe there is 2 byproducts, that is oxygen and water. So, the oxygen is the byproduct of the photosynthesis. And also the chlorophyll and sunlight, which is written on the arrow mark, it indicates what? It indicates this reaction, this chemical reaction will take place only in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Children, now we are going to see main events of photosynthesis. Main events or steps of photosynthesis. Children, you know that there is a require of sunlight or light energy for this process. So, the sunlight is going to be absorbed by the pigment chlorophyll. The chlorophyll absorbs the sunlight or light energy. Children, you know that photosynthesis is a chemical reaction. Then, which type of energy is required for the chemical reaction? Yeah, it is chemical energy. But the absorbed energy is light energy. So, in the second event, the light energy is going to convert it into chemical energy. So, the light energy is going to be converted into chemical energy. And also, the water molecules is broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. The water molecule will break as a hydrogen and oxygen. Then, the hydrogen is used for the reduction of carbon dioxide. So, the hydrogen which is used for the reduction of carbon dioxide. And third event is the carbon dioxide is going to be reduced to carbohydrate. Third event is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. That is, the carbon dioxide is going to be converted as a carbohydrates. Children, what are the products of photosynthesis? It is glucose, oxygen and water. These glucose will not used by the plants immediately and it stored in the form of starch. So, glucose or carbohydrate which is formed in the photosynthesis is converted as a starch. That means it is stored in as a starch and it is used by the plants whenever there is a requirement. Children, how the plants get water? So, Plants obtains the water from the soil. The roots of the soil absorbs the water from the soil. The absorbed water contains a dissolved minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. This nitrogen is used for the synthesis of protein and phosphorus is used for the growth of the plant. Then how does the leaf gets carbon dioxide? So the carbon dioxide enters the leaf through a tiny pores from the atmosphere. So the carbon dioxide enters to the leaf through the tiny pores. Then what is this tiny pore? A tiny pores or holes are called as a stomata. So stomata are the tiny pores which are present on the surface of the leaves. This is the structure of the stomata. Figure A is the open stomata and figure B is the closed stomata. You can observe there is a beans like structure. They are called as God cells. And there is a chloroplast which will be present in the God cells. And also the hole is called as stomatal pore. The stomata contains two God cells, stomatal pore and chloroplasts. And this stomatal pore is opened during daytime and closed during night. Why is this so? Because the light dependent photosynthesis reaction will take place during daytime, hence the pore is going to be opened. And this opening and the closing of the pore is controlled by the God cells. The opening and closing of the pore is controlled by the God cells. So when the water enters to the God cell, it will become bulge. At that time, it will be opened. And when the water is going to be removed from the God cell, it will become shrink. At that time, pore is going to be closed. The God cells controls the opening and the closing of the stomata. When the water enters to the God cell, it will become bulge and swells, and at that time pore will be open. When the water is going to be removed from the God cell, it will become shrink. At that time the pore is going to be closed. Children, what are the functions of stomata? Exchange of gases going to be taken place through the stomata. That is, carbon dioxide enters into the leaf and the byproduct oxygen is going to be comes out through the stomata. The oxygen which comes out and carbon dioxide enters through the stomata. Second function is excess of water is going to be removed through the stomata. Children, more number of stomatas are always present on the lower surface of the leaves. Why? Reason is to avoid more loss of water. We have discussed about the main events of photosynthesis. So, these steps are need not to be taken place one by one or immediately, because desert plants absorbs the carbon dioxide during the night. And also their stomatas are opened at night. So this is the exceptional case. Children, why does the desert plants absorb the carbon dioxide at night and also their stomatal pores are opened at night? Why? Because during the daytime the more loss of water will going to be taken place. Hence their stomatal pore are closed during daytime and it absorbs the carbon dioxide during the night. Children, so far we have discussed about photosynthesis, chemical equation and main events of photosynthesis, and about stomata, their functions and mechanism of stomata. Children, watch this animated photosynthesis video and also observe the cross section of the leaf.
Green plants can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Plants are held in the soil with the help of roots. These roots absorb water and send it to the leaves. through specialized tubes. The stem holds the leaves in such a way that they absorb maximum energy from sunlight. A cross-section of the leaf shows the upper and lower layers of cells, which are flat and irregular. Below the upper layer is the layer of tightly packed cells. These cells have specialized organelles called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts contain the pigment chlorophyll, which gives the green color to the leaf. The next layer has loosely arranged cells with large air spaces. The section also shows tubes specific for transporting the absorbed water into the leaves. The lower layer has many pores called stomata. Each stoma is surrounded by two guard cells, which regulate opening and closing of the stomata. A leaf absorbs carbon dioxide from the environment through these stomata, which, after passing through air spaces, enter into the chlorophyll-containing cells. Both water and carbon dioxide molecules are finally absorbed by the chloroplast. These chloroplasts also have the capacity for trapping energy from sunlight, and this energy is used to synthesize glucose and oxygen from carbon dioxide and water. These oxygen and glucose molecules diffuse out of the chloroplast. The glucose is transported through other specialized tubes to all parts of the plant, aiding in their growth. The oxygen present in these air spaces diffuses out through the stomata. So, during photosynthesis, oxygen is given as the life-sustaining gaseous component of the atmosphere, while glucose or food is transported to all parts of the plant and used for growth.
So far, we have discussed about autotrophic nutrition. Now, we are going to discuss about heterotrophic nutrition. So, as you know that heterotrophic nutrition is a mode of nutrition in which the organism, they depend on the autotrophs for their food. And there are three types of heterotrophic nutrition. First one is holozoic nutrition. Then what is this holozoic nutrition? Holozoic nutrition in which organism takes food and digested inside their body. So organism takes food and digested inside the body. Example, humans and all the animals, and also amoeba, paramecium, etc. Then second one is parasitic nutrition, in which organisms get their food from living organisms without killing them. That means the organism which obtain the food from the other organism without killing them is called as parasitic nutrition. Example, animal parasites like ticks, leeches, and roundworm, tapeworm, plasmodium, etc. And plant parasite is cuscuta. It is also called as amoeba. You can observe the picture, children. This is the cuscuta. So the yellow color thread-like structure plant is called as cuscuta. It is surrounded on the other plant for the food. So, and also you can observe the leeches. So third one is saprophytic nutrition, which the organism get their food from the dead and decaying organisms. Example, mushroom, bread mold, yeast, and some bacteria, etc. Now we are going to see nutrition in amoeba. Is amoeba has a specialized organ or organ system like animals? No, it is a unicellular organism. Then how the life process will take place in unicellular organisms? The life process will take place through the process called diffusion. The requirement will be fulfilled by the process called diffusion. That means the life process will take place through the process called diffusion. Single cell organism, the food is taken by the entire surface. First, Amoeba takes food using a temporary finger-like extensions or projections called pseudopodia. So, temporary finger-like extensions or projections are called as pseudopodia. By the pseudopodia, food is going to be taken. Then it forms a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, the food is going to be digested. Then the undigested food is then sent out through the surface of the cell. So inside the food vacuole, food is going to be digested and it is diffuses to cytoplasm. Then undigested food is then sent out through the surface of the cell. So in this way, nutrition in amoeba will takes place. Children, watch this video.
Nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba eats microscopic plants and animals which float in water. The mode of nutrition is holozoic. In amoeba, nutrition is carried out in 5 different steps just like the other animals. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Ingestion. When a food particle comes near amoeba, it ingests this food particle by using pseudopodia around it. Digestion. The food is digested in the food vacuole by digestive enzymes. Absorption. The digested food present in the food vacuole is directly absorbed into the cytoplasm of amoeba by diffusion. Assimilation. Food absorbed by amoeba is used to obtain energy for maintaining life processes. Egestion. When a sufficient amount of undigested food collects inside the amoeba, then its cell membrane suddenly ruptures at any place and the undigested food is thrown out of the body of the amoeba. In amoeba, the digestion occurs within the cell. This type of digestion is called intracellular digestion.
We came to the end of the session, so now take down the homework. First question is, write the main events of photosynthesis. Second one is, why do the desert plants absorb the carbon dioxide at night? Third one is, draw a neat label diagram of closed and open stomata. Fourth one is, explain nutrition in amoeba. Okay children, take care. Bye.